Welkom bij de weekendeditie van het Autoweek Journaal. Roy was onlangs op het circuit van Spa Francorchamps op uitnodiging van Infiniti en sprak daar exclusief met Sebastian Vettel.
Well, thank you for seeing us. One reason we're here is that you're a performance director of Infiniti. Can you explain a little about that job and health?
Well, obviously we have the partnership now for a couple of years with Red Bull Racing and Infiniti, as you can also see on the car. Obviously because of that partnership, I got more and more involved also with Infiniti, and we decided to do something together. And Director of Performance sounds like a lot, but basically I'm trying to help them here and there to lead the direction a bit in terms of car development. But obviously with road cars it's completely different, and with racing cars things take a lot of time, and it's a long process. So what I basically do is test drive the cars, try to give some feedback, and then ideally try to make the cars handle better.
Okay, and how did it went so far? Did you have any precise criticism they already put into account?
Well, I think the really first project we did, we had a little bit of an excursion with the FX at the time, but I think that really the first project was the Q50, where I was driving it in the early stages when it was a prototype, and obviously now the car is out for sale. Back then we had development going on with the brakes, with steering, and also the throttle, so quite a lot of things. Some of the shifts weren't right, and we obviously try to improve that.
You started racing at a very, very young age, and at one point apparently the dream came alive. You could go really high, and something you actually achieved. During that time that you are very young, say 10 or 12 or 14 years old, and you have to achieve, is there still time to actually enjoy the racing, or only basically trying to win and be the best?
No, I mean, of course you're ambitious. I think that's what drives you, but of course you enjoy, it's something you liked when you were a kid, you have a passion for, and you keep that, it's not, of course it becomes a job in many ways, but you still enjoy what you do. Okay, so even in Formula 1 it isn't the case that the pressure is so high every time that you actually forget to enjoy yourself. It's still there every time you... No, of course, like I said, in many regards, it also becomes a job because there's plenty of things outside the car to do, but the driving is obviously what I enjoy most, and for sure you have better days, you have worse days, but overall, it's good to remember why you're doing it, and you do it because you enjoy it.
If you talk to racing drivers, and not per se Formula 1, but say in other categories, they always say, well, if you look at Formula 1, it's incredible, you really get to the top of the pyramid, and every driver reaching Formula 1 is actually so good that it's very difficult to be better than somewhere else. How does that feeling work in the whole field of drivers within Formula 1?
Well, obviously they're all experts. I mean, they're all there for a reason. Naturally you have a split because not all the teams are at the same level. But I think still you'll find that it's very tight sometimes. Obviously, depends also the conditions a bit. But it's not a surprise when all of a sudden some driver who is usually in the midfield comes to the front, or the other way around. For people maybe it's a surprise from the outside, but I think for us we know that the competition is very high, and everyone is capable of driving a car.
I can imagine. Unfortunately in the Netherlands we don't have a big history of Formula 1 drivers. We had a few, and we still pressure them. Right now the son of Max Verstappen is trying to reach up, and he's doing very well in the way he's performing right now. Do you have any advice for him at his age?
Well, advice is always difficult. In the end, I think it's important you enjoy what you do, because the passion in the end is what drives you. Obviously, I've known some of the drivers, Dutch drivers. I also grew up in a way with Guido van der Garde, so I know him fairly well. And we had some good races in karting. Unfortunately, he never got to race in a proper team in Formula 1, but. Surely, he's one of the guys who, is talented enough, quick enough to drive a car.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, and hope we'll see more products from Infiniti from you in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dank u wel.
Graag gedaan.